Hello, folks. This is Founders Foundry, and this is the ARS Podcast. It has been a long time, but we are back, and a lot has happened since the last time we were on air. Um, Goodness gracious, just to catch us up here, a lot of updates have happened on the side of ARS, including the launch of our very own Instagram. It took us a minute to get there, but we're there now. So definitely check us out on Instagram for some fun here, some of the same fun that you enjoy from us on the Facebook and Twitter that we pretty much replicate on Instagram and a little bit more as well, a little more insight, a little more behind the scenes stuff. So definitely take a look, particularly at some of our collections, if anything. Some of us have been collecting anime for a very long time, and certainly are not shy. Well, at least some of us are not shy about showing off our wares. So just slide into the DMs on that, and just keep a lookout for us on that part. But no, quite a bit has happened. Of course, a lot in the real world has in fact occurred that has kept a lot of our members away, myself included. And of course, with so many newsworthy events happening just across the spectrum, problems with in the real world, a lot of adulting, a lot of sadness. Um, it's just been a bit to get together and to talk about the things that we enjoy within anime, manga, comics, video games, and all things geeky. It gets a little hard, especially when so many things are happening all at once. On that note, and on a serious note, definite definite hearts are with those affected by the hurricane in Florida, Hurricane Ian, that has done quite a lot of damage. Um, Definitely, please seek out charitable organizations, um, GoFundMe's and the like to help people out in this time because it's a difficult time for people, especially given the circumstances. On that note, as just this is sort of a catch up to everything because it's been a bit, and I wanted to actually do this recording um, way before now, but circumstances prevented me from doing so. With that said, I want to talk a little about a few things because I know we're in a different season now. This is it's the most wonderful time of the year. Well, close to that season, the season prior to that one. We're in the pumpkin spice season, so a little colder out. Um, it is the fall, and I'll be getting into that momentarily, what that means. But I wanted to talk about some things that occurred beforehand, and that was over at a little event called Otakon. Of course, Otakon is been home to Anime Rest Stop for its panels for some time now, and definitely uh, for me coming back to Otakon, it's been really since the start of the pandemic. I have not been to Otakon, so my first time back since 2019. Uh, to see the event grow immensely and a record-setting crowd, uh, above all else, everyone deserves definite round of applause, especially the con staff and security and those that kept people safe during that time, and especially in such a difference maker of it with so many things just occurring. The pandemic was still afoot, although although COVID-19 is considered over in spots, please practice safety at your particular element. People have to still be vigilant because even though there's been official declaration in circles, it's still not. You're still seeing advertisements on TV and other places for COVID-19 vaccine. So just please be vigilant in that matter. But Otakon thoughts. Otakon was really good. Um, had a chance to go to a few panels, in particular, reunite with some very good people, and all in all had fun in presenting our Lovesick panel. Definite good times. If anything, certainly enough. Lot of growth from the crowd and from ourselves as well, given the unique experience of coming back to a live crowd in this particular element. Um, so definite interesting takeaways from Otakon in that respect. For the other panels that I actually attended, I attended the DENPA panel, and DENPA's founder, who we've actually had on this broadcast, Ed Chavez. Definitely a very good panel. A lot of unique offerings to the marketplace as manga continues to soar and do well within the U.S. A few things that you actually look out for coming out in a few weeks. So definitely check out Denpa's official website, also their Twitter, for some updates there. Of course, went to the Big West panel, and Big West, of course, the company we've talked about Big West before here, and it was sort of an element. They had a big announcement, and everybody was anticipating a certain Macross title, particularly two titles. Instead, we got a film short for Macross Frontier, and another movie for Macross Delta, which is great. But a lot of people were very amped, waiting for the big deal, considering the hype had been built up from the panelist side. Nevertheless, um, good panel. Would have been great, of course, if that wish had been fulfilled for Old School Macross and Do You Remember Love. But considering they were not on the table at that point in time, and mind you, they covered their bases within the panel. And in terms of, one of the panelists actually stated that they are privy to some of the negotiations. So that being said, I felt like, okay, I thought about it after a panel, like, oh, oh, that could have been better, but oh wait, he did say that, so yeah, they kind of covered their bases there, just in case anybody um, came back with that. But all in all, had a chance to see some familiar faces, and that's always the best part about Otakon, or any convention for that matter. And for me, it had been sometime it had been since COVID, honestly. I hadn't seen a few familiar faces, and of course, with the mask mandates, couldn't see their faces per se. so so that's hopefully the next time, and as the time goes on, and we as a collective continue to contend with this matter of COVID-19, and that people eventually will get to that place of comfort in a major capacity scale again. At least for you know at least for not just for Otakon, but for all conventions. But some conventions are running with minimal mask mandates, but there's been talks about that. Of course, Anime Expo this year ran with, at full capacity, and that in itself was scary for some people. So, so it does vary, but everyone has to be vigilant, and I don't blame any of the events for uh, executing mandates to keep their people safe. Don't I have no qualms or issues with that whatsoever. But that's just some of the matters just update for Otakon. Of course, some other news happened that we're still reeling from as a collective group. Of course, and that is the Sony acquisition of Right Stuff and Nozomi Entertainment. So as we're in this great consolidation era, um, as people are calling it now, with companies merging and things being kind of redundancies being weeded out in aspects. It seems like Sony, in their acquisition of Funny and that Crunchyroll, that they've now that they've purchased the distribution uh, element in Right Stuff. Of course, Right Stuff has been around for over 30 years, and it's been a great retailer. For anime and anime merchandise. So it came square out of left field. Nobody saw that coming. It's you know, and a lot of people are still kind of in the dark on it. I think that's the interesting aspect. No one's really talked to the founders for it's talked to the founder, the Sean Kleckner, or anyone that's really close in to know, like, hey, what happened? Why is this a thing? Why is that a thing? Um, it's still sort of a mystery to some, and I guess it will be for some time to come. But what is not certainly a mystery is certainly Sony's market share, as it's grown particularly in anime in the U.S. So very very large share, and of course with Sony's main business, the in terms of the gaming sphere, did fairly well in the previous generation going into this one, that it just seems like that is that is the ship. That is the battleship of profit. So lots of things happened since then. Uh, Aside all of that, you know, heftiness, you know, as your founding father of Rest Stop, um, and this is not my foundry, but this is ARS. What have I been up to? Well, as your primary host, I've just been really taking in a lot of different things between all the adulting, and so I was fortunate to uh, check out Stone Ocean, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, when it dropped around the same, little over the same time thereabout as JoJo All Star Battle R. So very much a wonderful time. Um, Very good time there. So pretty much enjoying a few things, even watching a couple things, of course, for podcasts. I go into some of it, but I don't want to spoil anything. Even though for some of the things I've been watching, they're a little up there, but it's for you guys and myself too, but also for you guys. Been watching a few recommended shows, including one interesting show. Um, it's not too old. It's actually 86. 86. I actually just finished that one, and that was quite good. I'm actually interested in the original source material for that, for the light novels. Um, Good times there. Good times there. Besides that, that was, most of the stuff for the summer and ending summer. And as we're into the fall and into the pumpkin spice season, we have quite a few things that are making the rounds now. Quite a few things. Oh my goodness. It's literally a who's who. So let's just go over some of that. We've got My Hero Academia season 6, of course, Mirko go Mirko, and you know that's a thing. You've got, of course, the anticipated debut of Chainsaw Man, the anticipated return of Bleach, the surprising return and surprising return of really the wild card of 2022, and that's Spy Family. In my opinion, I certainly didn't expect Spy Family to soar as high as it has, and I remember talking to my co-host, Old Otaku the Mountain, and saying, "Hey, this is going to be the best. If it doesn't make it, it's going to be the best first season of an anime ever." Because we both enjoyed the manga, and once I saw the cosplay hit, I just kind of knew, oh, this is your favorite band is now everyone's favorite band. So that that's the thing. But Spy Family returns this season. Uzaki-chan returns as well. It'll be interesting to see what Uzaki-chan does. Um, Uzaki-chan wants to hang out. Season 2. It'll be interesting to see what Uzaki-chan does in a post-your world, as everyone's favorite, girl fave waifu has changed rapidly in the fandom as it's gone about. Um, this year we started with, I believe, Marin from My Dress Up Darling, and then that changed to, um, prior to that was Miss Nagatoro. Was Miss Nagatoro rather, from Nagatoro to Marin. Prior to both of them, Uzaki-chan. In between that period, you had Komi, from Komi Can't Communicate, and now we're to Yor, and so it'll be fun to see, how much Uzaki-chan can maintain its crowd. But speaking of maintaining things, another surprising return is Pop Team Epic coming back. Be very interesting to see what happens there. Pop Team Epic is a very for this podcaster, it's more of an acquired taste, but I can see where some of that appeal comes in. It's a few laughs here and there for me, but we have people in Rest Off that love Pop Team Epic, so um, surprise return there. Of course, uh, Tiger and Bunny, which actually came back recently for Netflix, returns for the second part of its new season. And of course, of all the things, the very highly anticipated return of Bleach. Bleach has been gone for a while. Bleach is, 1/3 of the Trinity that dominated the 2000s, with Naruto and One Piece respectively. And since Bleach's time, a lot of things anime and manga wise have changed. And it'll be interesting to see Bleach get its last hurrah. Then, of course, we have another of the old guard, but not even so much old guard. That's an understatement. We have a legend coming back, and that's Urusei Yatsura, getting a reboot. Uh, Last time Urusei Yatsura was on television was way back in the 80s. And, other than the anniversary, the Rumiko Takahashi anniversary material, we haven't seen the iconic character Lum in her main bay, Toru. We haven't seen those two in a very long time, and so it'll be interesting to see what the reboot is able to do, especially in this era of anime, given that there's so much so much of a reception from the West, in addition to its core audience in Japan. because anime is more mainstream than it's ever been, and there's an entire generation that's not really familiar with Urusei Yatsura unless you've been fortunate to read the source material, which is now available again through Viz. So very intriguing times. Now, for all the fall material that's coming out, now, that's not all of it, of course. I only named a few of the highlights here. Of course, we have Mob Psycho 100. Of course, Mob Psycho 100 is coming back for its third season, which is being poised as its last. Unfortunately, uh, uh, just before uh, just before the rolling Mob Psycho 100 out, of course, there's controversy with the simuldub, particularly with the lead of Mob Psycho 100. So Kyle McCarley, who's had this role for some time now and is a solid in the business, that he is not coming back to reprise the role that he made famous, and that has a lot of people upset. And that is still a rolling element now, even as the fall season is afoot. So Kyle, apparently it's been a back and forth. There's interviews. There's a lot of material on Kyle McCarley's situation, and it's unfortunate that in a time that is supposed to be a very celebrated time, that we have unfortunate things that occur, particularly involving contract issues and involving an employer that is at best very questionable um, in that regard, because it's understood that Kyle McCarley just wanted a conversation and in terms of matters for the role, and particularly with that involved a union, and apparently that conversation was enough to essentially lead to matters there that are still ongoing to this recording, which is unfortunate. With that said, Mob Psycho 100 Season 3 is still due to come out this season. Quite an element, folks. If anything, for an original title out of a mix of it, of course, there's Shinobi no Otoki. And Shinobi no Otoki is pretty much your action series. It's your ninja versus ninja series. And as one who is a fan of ninjas, I am looking forward to watching this one. So very, very wild times. Fall season has a lot of stuff, a lot of news, and a lot of other brouhaha, but there is something for everybody looking at matters. That being said, also another show that is just rolled out recently, and that's Housing Complex C, which is on Adult Swim, also on HBO Max this season. So a lot of offerings, folks, across the board for the fall. And with the fall season, we have some anniversaries to celebrate, particularly for the anime side of the house. Goodness, October 3rd of 2002, Naruto aired on TV in Japan. It has been 20 years since Naruto, debuted. And Naruto, of course, would go on to inspire and ignite a lot of people and represent that bridge of anime fandom from the old generation to the new generation. and definite ace of his genre, and has definitely created fans abound, um, by and far, by and far. Of course, for the gaming side of the house, which is funny to think about it, it's been actually 10 years since Resident Evil 6. Hmm. Ever since the globe-trotting craziness that was Resident Evil 6. And as much as I am not a fan of Resident Evil 6, we owe Resident Evil 6 a nod in terms of trying something new, but also even in its result of it, regardless of how you feel about it critically, it did well in sales. It was the top it was the top earning Resident Evil for a while until we got Resident Evil 7 and then later Resident Evil Village. So 6 deserves its credit. It deserves criticism, but it also deserves its credit. So definite times. Just time keeps moving on, folks. Time keeps moving on. Anything got a few other elements to get into for this particular broadcast. Going to take a quick break. When we return, going to get a little further into the weeds here regarding the Kyle McCarley matter, and then we're going to look at a few other things of interest. Don't go anywhere, folks. Be right back. Hello, folks, and we are back here to get into a little more as it relates to the matter with Kyle McCarley, Crunchyroll, and union contracts. Of course, Anime Rest Stop has talked about unions before when it comes to like Seven Seas, and Seven Seas acknowledged its union. Crunchyroll, it seemed like Crunchyroll was trying to balance matters initially by raising pay scales in Texas and trying to make it as comparable to LA. But now, when it comes to talent, apparently, it seems like there's just been a back and forth for a bit as it relates to Kyle McCarley and his spot as the lead of Mob Psycho 100, and it's it's it, it garnered a lot of heat. Just the treatment of Kyle during this time. Um, it's just understood. Just wanted a conversation in the fact that he couldn't get it, and it escalated to just, well, now he's being replaced is absurd, and it definitely rubbed a lot in the community the wrong way. There've been conversations about it back and forth. In fact, the SAG-AFTRA had talked about it on their social media, going as far as to say in a tweet, quote, "Hey, Mob Psycho 100 fans, your favorite character has been recast because Crunchyroll Sony refuses to even talk about a union contract. It's just a meeting." And one thing led to another, and it's just a madhouse of tweets and just not it not really pretty fair, just not. And as much as you know, we talk about things on this show, and certainly enough, my other co-hosts Filthy Casual talk about it as well, that we talk about the things that we enjoy, and namely that's what we love doing, is talking about the hobbies we enjoy. We don't like getting into really the ugly of the business and the ugly of a lot of it, but we do deal in facts, we do deal in truth, we do deal in the actual nature of things, because we are people with lives outside of just the hobby, outside of just the element. And I know there's a lot of people who just, man, I just want to enjoy the hobby. I just want to enjoy this. I don't want to go into this. I don't want to go into the element. But you can't have one without the other. It'd be no different than just certainly enough the elements in terms of like your favorite shoe, or your favorite designer of clothing, and the elements that may or may not go into that. You have to understand that there are aspects outside that play a role, and that the people involved in the stuff you make have lives and families and livelihoods, and things that concern them as well. And to negate that, or to ignore that, to say, well, like, I don't care about you, I just care about me, is, I mean, to each their own, and to your particular perspective. But for some of us, that's just not right. And now, same time, I am also an advocate for those. Everyone has their own choice to make in that situation. You choose not to support a particular company because of A, B, and C. That is your choice to make. That is not anyone to advocate that, or say, hey, we're going to make this stance of this. That's a personal choice. After you get all the information and all of the facts, you have to make your own informed decision. And also, we know there are those that, you know, even looking at those things, they whatever decision they come to, it's theirs. For instance, with Kyle McCarley's situation, there are those that do not watch dubs, that may feel like this doesn't concern them. Excuse me. And they just proceed accordingly. And for those that do, that's their prerogative, should they choose to do it. At the same time, it still doesn't negate the situation at hand. Um, and to me, that's an ongoing conversation that's gonna have to be, you know, it's gonna have to be contested with the parties involved. And the most that we can do is watch and certainly see. And of course, those that have social media, social media is social media. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Um, but I think the important thing is to get all the facts, and see how things play out. And from there, you move accordingly with how you feel. But be informed first before doing or saying anything. That's this podcaster's opinion. That said, folks, other news, certainly enough, happened in the course of time. Course of this recording, this is the weekend of Antonio Inoki's passing. Antonio Inoki, founder of New Japan, forerunner of mixed martial arts, known for having a lot of epic matches in his day, particularly the epic mixed martial arts match, early mixed martial arts match he had against the one and only Muhammad Ali. Antonio Inoki passed away last week, and the world is mourning him, not only as a great professional wrestler, decorated professional wrestler, but also as an overall icon. The man would go on to become a politician in full, negotiating the release of hostages during a situation with Saddam Hussein. Um, He would go on to inspire, uh, a lot of different things. Daryl Surratt had a very good write-up of, it's a good tweet of Antonio Inoki, that pretty much Inoki did a lot of things, including, establishing archetypes of shonen anime and manga heroes in those particular media. So, most prominently, certainly enough, Tiger Mask in the day, and you could see the Inoki inspiration from there to the likes of Baki the Grappler and One Piece, just to name a few. Um, Inoki did a lot of stuff in his time. As I said, forerunner of mixed martial arts. Without him, you don't get a lot of the spin-off elements. You don't get the UFC. You don't get Pride. You don't get. There's a lot of things that don't happen without Antonio Inoki. Um, and of course, with Inoki's passing, ends an era in Japanese pro wrestling. Um, if anything, uh, definite deal. 79 years old, accomplished a heck of a lot in his run of life. Um, Gone but not forgotten. Decorated champion, sound politician. Um, all in all, person that touched a lot of lives across the board, um, from the heyday of pro wrestling to the establishment of New Japan in 1972, all the way to modern day. To likes that you see his inspiration and you see his touches in different talents, even to the likes of his protege and Shinsuke Nakamura, um, one of many proteges, by the way, of Antonio Inoki. That note, uh, Inoki Bumbaye, rest in peace, Antonio Inoki. When we return, folks, from a quick break, gonna go over some of the gaming side, what has been going on in gaming lately, what is happening, and what to look forward to. Stay tuned. And we are back, folks. So, gaming wise, a lot has happened. Oh boy. So, Sony's just like, okay, let's, you're enrolling this PS5 as a thing this era, but player base is still kind of, it's not quite as much as the previous era. So, what do? Well, we'll just increase the prices. Well, internationally. And that was reported across the board, from Polygon, a few others. And so you're increasing prices on those in other territories except the United States. But we're still having problems with the actual availability of the item. So that leaves people to wonder, just, okay, what's going on here? What is this? Just no, that's not how this is supposed to be. Aside that bit of news drop, we had Soul Hackers 2, of course, came out and soared. Saints Row came out and kind of bored people. Just Saints Row. It seemed like it had potential for its return. People were excited, and then it cratered. I don't, even though people could say, well, just the fans are being super critical of things. It's just, there's a higher expectation for games now. Gaming is higher than it's ever been. Gaming is taking the focus of a lot of things, a lot of money, a lot of resources. Um, a lot of eyes are on gaming now, and the you can't do what certain franchises have done for a long time. You're not like Saints Row is not, jokingly enough, Saints Row is not Madden. Saints Row, like, you can't rest on your laurels and the name. you have to put in work. And Saints Row, unfortunately, it's just been a tough deal for it. And I don't think any developer goes out to just make a bad game. I think things just happen in that element. Circumstances occur that can make it hard. Now, that's in the case of Saints Row. Now, recently, a game that people had pretty much marked off as most people had marked off as just disappointing, and that's Cyberpunk 2077. Um, Finds itself in a revival period thanks to the anime tie-in, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which is on Netflix. Edge Runners, very good title. I did get opportunity to watch it, and the fact that the Steam numbers jumped for uh, for Cyberpunk 2077, albeit there's been work placed into it, patches, patch notes. Certainly, Deckard Bain, um, if you were here on the show, do you have those patch notes? There have been they've been trying to address matters to make it good, and it seems like Edge Runners hit at just the perfect time. It sparked an interest into Cyberpunk again, kind of giving it giving it a boost up, that a booster that it needed to get back into the fold here. So that's an example of a great tie-in, folks, when it can revitalize your brand and make it sound again. So um, so good times there. Now for this particular podcaster, I'm still a little hesitant, particularly because I own a PS4 and not a PS5, and I had imagined, given some of the graphics power and such, that it would probably even fare a lot better just on PC, just to do it PC. I would feel safer in that as opposed to crashing my PS4. I just would. So I just, best to just buy a PC. Of course, once you do that, that's a slippery slope. Uh, that said, folks, on the gaming front, a couple of notes here. Of course, noted talent from Arc Systems Works um, left the company not that long ago, actually, just a few days ago, and this it's been an employee with ArcSys for over 20 years. That's a long time, everyone. Like that's oof, 20 years to be with the same entity. And that person that left the building, and as an egg put it best, is so cool he looks like he can get anybody he wants. And that is Toshimichi Mori. Of course, Mori is also the heart and soul of Blaze Blue. So a lot of people feel, of course, with his departure that Blaze Blue has officially ended, that Blaze Blue's done. Of course, Mori worked closely with Daisuke Shibutari and in elements of Guilty Gear and of course Blaze Blue and a few other games as well. And of course, ArcSys is doing really well in this fighting game era. Um, and one of the things that did well for it, that bridge, um, we saw it in Fighters. In Dragon Ball Fighters was really well received, and definite money behind that brand. Um, and then of course Guilty Gear came back with Exerd and with Exerd, Revelator, Rev 2 to you know to where we are now with Strive, and Strive is the draw. Everyone loves Strive. Strive's numbers are significantly strong. And but before we got to any of that, Blaze Blue was that ace. Blaze Blue was the bridge that carried ArcSys across and made it so that Guilty Gear could come back. And unfortunately, Blaze Blue has just had some missteps, and certainly enough, you know, and Anime Rest Stop's own general, field general, Adam is not shy about that. And just to give some context, it's some handling of some of the latter stuff with Blaze Blue, particularly Central Fiction, and um, and certainly the mobile game uh, did not do well either. And I think a lot was kind of placed on that. And now that there's a switch in direction as far as matters go for Arxis, Arxis is still Arxis, but I just think Mori now sees it as a time to kind of branch out and do other things and find himself in another way and creatively um, maybe do something different that brings him back up and brings him new life. So you know, wild times for Arc Systems. Certainly enough. Mori champion in terms of staying with the company as long as he did, working and certainly creating Blaze Blue and all his wonderful characters. Old Otaku of the Mountain and myself, Adam, Pirate Zaku as well. We all enjoyed Blaze Blue. Blaze Blue gave us a lot of enjoyment over the years, and it if Blaze Blue is in fact over for now, without its creator, without its creator, you know, as Maury's moved on, then we had some good memories. All of us and all those listening had some good memories with Blaze Blue. And at the same time, Arxis, Blaze Blue is a brand. Blaze Blue is their franchise, is Arxis franchise, and I'm sure time comes, maybe Blaze Blue can come back again. But now it's Guilty Gear's time. And that's just pretty much it. Um, that said, folks, looking at matters for the gaming side, and speaking of Arxis, rollback was announced for Guilty Gear Xrd for Rev 2. That if for some reason you're not feeling you're not enjoying matters with Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear Strive's kind of too easy, or it doesn't have certain things that you enjoyed from the previous Guilty Gear games. Certain sort of dust ups, certain finisher. If it doesn't have any of that stuff, and you're just kind of I'm bored. This is just kind of the samey style play. Well, okay, you can play the older Guilty Gear games with with rollback to make them more viable for online play and have fun there. And I think it's a good element there to have for the old guard to see what happens there, and maybe just gives them a gauge. It expands elements out for Rev 2, and I know Rev 2 just felt like it got kind of cut short in spots, but we did get Strive, and I mean it's I think it'll be an interesting time for Arxis. Gives them chance to like gauge stuff, see what's what. But otherwise, I think the Guilty Gear fans have a lot to look forward to there. So just you know, be on the lookout for that, folks. Fun times, fun times. And of course, in the heap of matters, we have during our hiatus we had state of plays. We had the state of play events. State of play for Sony, and we had the Nintendo Direct, of course. And winners across the board. There was a lot of stuff announced, some of which it's rolling out now. For this particular podcaster, very excited that the Front Mission first remake is back on and full. Like it never went anywhere, but it's supposed to come out over the summer and it didn't. So now the new date is November, and not only that's still on the table. Front Mission 2 remake is due out next year, and then in the future, this was the big one, Front Mission 3 remake. Front Mission 3 is the first Front Mission game to come out in North America. It came out on the PS1 on the original PlayStation in 1999. And definitely has its fans. It's the most viable and beloved of the Front Mission series that's been released over here. Um, Good times with that one. And in fact, I'm enjoying it now on my PlayStation 3. So I am looking forward to seeing what happens with that, what they could possibly do to improve that remake and what that will entail. Um, Other news, of course, with the state of play for Sony, a lot of good stuff. Of course, the big one being God of War Ragnarok. Highly anticipated title. We're waiting to see Kratos again with his boy, and now we're getting it. Now we're getting all of it, and it looks fantastic. So, a lot of winners there um, in that element of things. Can't complain there. I think everyone went home fairly happy. Now, of course, probably at the end of this recording, I'll probably hear from some of my producers on, there's some people that are not happy. We're going to tell you why. Well, then come on the show and tell us why. Um, that's my take of that, folks. And lastly, we have Overwatch news. Overwatch 2 is coming out very shortly. The beta has been played. It's been announced that if you own the game, and it's a free to play, you should be good. Now, if you didn't own if you own the first Overwatch and you're getting Overwatch 2, you should be okay. But if you've never played Overwatch and Overwatch 2 is your first Overwatch, you might have some you have some grinding to do. Excuse me. And you'll only have access to like 3 characters, and you'll have to get the other established characters from the previous game. And that can be quite a bit. Overwatch, of course, great game. The game itself, wonderful. I know there's been a lot of write-ups with Blizzard. Of course, Blizzard's now under owned by Microsoft, and they're just kind of making the difference in that, and trying to make things work. And I think having Overwatch return is a step in the right direction, especially if it's done well. And well, we'll see in a few days. And in the world of free to plays, where there's quite a few of them, and there's competition, been quite a bit of competition since Overwatch's time. So we'll see how successful Overwatch will be. We'll see what will become of Overwatch 2. Now, folks, we're gonna take another break. When we return, going to go over a few things in the toolbox here that have not been covered, but feel like they should be. Stick around. And we're back. So just to kind of leave off on a few things here. So found out, of course, the Harley Quinn show is getting season 4 after a fairly good season 3, and even for all of the changes going on in Warner Brothers under CEO David Zaslav, that Harley Quinn is still set to have a season 4. So, if you love Harley and you love her crazy, then more power to you, and more of that to come. Particularly, I enjoyed for the best Commissioner Gordon ever by Christopher Maloney. Good times there. Of course, we had since our time, we had the D23 Expo. A lot of stuff Disney-wise announced. A lot of surprising stuff. Of course, Secret Invasion, on the horizon. But coming very shortly is Werewolf by Night. Trailer looked very good, very exciting. I think it was kind of like a breath of fresh air just to see something like it, and look forward to seeing what that will what that will do. Looking forward to watching it. Of course, some stuff that wasn't announced at D23 Expo, but came out a little later is a little trailer from Ryan Reynolds, and it concerned Deadpool 3. And within a matter of hours, Ryan Reynolds, in just a few short seconds, made a lot of people happy. Made some people upset too, but made a lot more people happy. Uh, with him going about the rounds as Deadpool, in his outfit, and, typing up the script, and he had a guest in his house that just walked by. Uh, it's none other than Hugh Jackman, and one thing led to another, and boom, that's how you have internet gold. So we found out that Wolverine will be in Deadpool 3. So a lot of Marvel fans very excited for that. Some good stuff coming. So there you go. Of course, one other note is, of course, the Blade movie. The Blade movie, apparently rumored to be filming shortly, has lost its director, and that is, if that is the case, that is not good. Of course, we're still a little bit of ways from the Blade movie coming out. Anything is possible. We'll see what comes of that, because we know how bad news travels faster than good, and it is easy to to have these sort of rumors. That said, there's sources to it, claim sources, but as we have learned through this, you never count out the mouse, because you can easily get an ace just randomly out of nowhere that just will change the landscape. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. And anything, folks, I just got something in here. So one other tidbit that came from the State of Play was the Fitboxing game that features a legendary hero that throws hands. So you can actually play as Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star and have him help you exercise and get in shape. Wonderful world we live in, folks. All the crazy in the world, and we're getting all the fun geek stuff. Lovely, lovely times. Crazy shit, folks. Crazy shit. On that note, hope that you've enjoyed our, this bit of a romp here, this bit of an update here. Anything hoping to do a little bit more podcasting in the coming days, coming weeks. Hopefully have some surprises here and there for you. If anything, definitely look out for the Anime Rest Stop as we make our stop within Crystal City, Virginia for Anime USA. Anime USA, of course, was our old stomping grounds, and certainly enough, where we established ourselves in 2011, and we've been doing this craziness of panels and traveling the con since then. So with that, folks, definitely check us out there. Of course, for more opinions and insights and madness from me, my opinions on my own, you check me out at ARS Founder on Twitter. I am also FoundersFoundry on PSN. Don't hesitate to send me, recommends or things of that sort. Just, always happy to hear you out. And if anything, of course, you can always check out the rest of the crew between Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And not to mention all of our respective members on Twitch, from Decker Bane to Pirate Zaku to Mob Noise, who has her own element these days, but certainly enough. We were fortunate to have Mob Noise with us for Otakon as a reunion, which was very very nice. So definitely check out her channel. Uh, and if last but not least, be safe, everybody. With everything going on in the world these days, it's you know, be vigilant, be safe, and talk to you soon. Take it easy, folks.